Hey, it's Brian. I just want to make a quick video recording how to exactly use Approsheets and how to use the issue checking technique. So I have this example of a torts question. This is from a California exam essay, but it can apply to any state, any jurisdiction here. So we have a pretty broad sort of call of the question. So the issues are not identified for us already. So this is a good example of how to check through the issues, and this is not too long, so let's see if we can do this in just a few minutes. So this is the torts Approsheet, and well, first of all, let's read the fact pattern first. So we have someone who had a handgun, and we have a statute. So that should also already be like a flag telling you that we may have a negligence per se issue. There's a burglar, stole the handgun, came out. There's a patron who came out at night, and the burglar approached the patron. So he says something here. So this is all very intentional type actions. Patron fainted. Burglar took her purse. They got caught. The cinema was aware of these attacks on customers during the past several years. So they were aware of it, but did not do anything about it. So under what theory or theories can patron bring an action for damages against homeowner, the burglar, and the cinema? So we have three different defendants here and one plaintiff who fainted and hurt her head. So let's see. So looking at the Approsheet, we can tell that there were some intentional torts by the burglar at least, and then there was some negligence, probably by the homeowner and also the cinema. And we can sort of tell that because the homeowner did do something that the statute, warned against. So I mean, it wasn't like he had malice, but he did something that maybe he shouldn't have. Cinema, similar thing. We have information that there were a bunch of attacks on the customers, but it didn't do anything about it for years. Okay, so let's do patron versus homeowner first. So we can just start off with negligence. So what we're doing right now is just going through the issues. What might be the testable issues? So negligence is a very big subject, so we're probably gonna have to go through all of these. So let's see. I'm just gonna put this here. So negligence is the big issue here, and then we have duty of care, standard of care, breach. Well, we have two different types of causation. So let's do actual causation. That's in fact. And then proximate damages. So far we have just the elements of negligence, and then we also do want to consider some defenses. There may or may not be defenses, but let's see if we do. So I like to organize the issues and sub issues in like indentations, as I do with the Approsheets and magic sheets. So we have all these different sub issues here. Whoops. And let's see, standard of care. So there was a statute, so we're gonna flag negligence per se. And then, so these are, so we already set up our negligence issue here. So assuming you know the rules, so you can recite the rules here and just plug and play and analyze. Let's see if there's any defenses that the homeowner might have. So comparative negligence, contributory negligence. Did the patron do anything that would maybe, maybe that part of it was her fault. The patron did not listen to the burglar when he or she approached the patron and demanded that she hand over her purse. So I mean, arguably there is a bit of a fault there. So we can at least flag down comparative negligence and contributory negligence. So comparative negligence and contributory negligence. So these could be flagged. Assumption of risk. Did the patron assume a risk by going out at midnight? I think the rules say, we need some sort of awareness. Like, we have to explicitly know what the risk is and then do it regardless. So you could raise it if you have the time, but let's just mark it as a sort of an optional. I put them in brackets, optional defense. And I don't believe that the patron had any duty to mitigate any damages. There was, it was a burglar who just suddenly came up. So let's not put that as defense. So so that might be it for the homeowner. The big thing here is negligence per se, because there was a statute that the homeowner did not comply with. So let's move on to the next one. So patron wants to bring action against burglar for sure. Patron. By the way, this is how you would set up an outline on the actual essay as well. And this is perfect for essay cooking, where basically you do this, but then you also put in the rules as well, or just at least note it if you know it. Let's see. And actually, on the real thing, you may not even have to write this down in your outline. I mean, this is pretty much presumed that you're going to talk about it. You may want to note down negligence per se. So you might have something like, let's see. Something like this, just as your sort of your brief issue outline. But just for illustration purposes, I'm going to include everything here. So patron versus burglar. So that seems to be not really about negligence. It's more about intentional torts. So the burglar did something intending to have a certain outcome, steal her purse. So let's see. Let's just go down the list here. We're going to check for issues now. Did the burglar have any contact with patron? No, I don't think so. We just approached, demanded. It was just words, basically. So was the patron scared, or was he close to actual contact? Yes. The patron heard the sentence, and then she fainted out of shock. So let's note down assault. So assault. Was she trapped somewhere? Maybe not. I mean, it was. It's sort of like the Crim Pro just being, the seizure issue in Crim Pro. But this is not really. You were not confined in a room or something. Maybe we can flag it as a possible issue here, and then maybe we'll talk about it at the end or something. Let's see. I don't know why I wrote indecent conduct, but was there intentional infliction of emotional distress? I think so. Just by virtue of saying this word, and she fainted. So let's flag that as a topic to talk about. We don't have any land. Personal property, yes. So we do have her purse. So let's note down trespass to chattel. Did I say that right? I think it's chattel. And also conversion, because burglar actually took it. So, and then do we have anything else? So false imprisonment is a possible one. Since we're talking about IIED, maybe we could talk about NIED. The burglar was not negligent about anything, but if you have time, you can just note this as a possible thing. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, it's not really negligence, but the patron did have some distress and physical harm, so it's a possible topic. So even though it was not negligence, just we can also group these two sort of issues together. They might come in pairs, so whenever one is talked about, you might want to consider the other one as well. So let's see. And you also want to talk about defenses. Do we have any defenses? I don't think so. We can note this and then just say, it's just not applicable. And then let's move on to the last person here. The last person is going to be the cinema. what else did we do here? So the cinema had, it was aware of something here, So and there's a bit of negligence about not keeping their parking lot safe. So I think there's a standard of care for landowners, so we can talk about that. But let's check through this first. Same deal. We have negligence, so you can pretty much just copy and paste this and see what can apply here. So duty of care, yes. Standard of care. There's no statute applicable here, but this is not noted here. But we can talk about landowner sort of responsibility, duty of care, or standard of care for landowners, particularly invitees, because the patron was there to pay for the movie ticket and so on. So there is a special standard of care for landowners to, what was the rule? Make sure that the property is safe. So you can look that up, but for now, at least flag the issue here. And then everything else, we can note these issues and discuss them in the essay. Defenses, the same thing applies here. So, mainly, so we have negligence as a big topic here, and then we have negligence per se as something you do need to talk about. And then defenses are, of course, important. These are the important ones here that you want to talk about. Same thing here, negligence, big topic, but the main sub-issue that you should have identified is the landowner and the invitee standard of care owed to the invitee. So basically we have, this is it. We just checked through. I think the checking was especially helpful for this one. For negligence, we already know which sub-issues to talk about. It's basically the elements of negligence. We did have some help from the Approsheets to identify the negligence per se, because we had a statute. And this one, it was not noted, I don't think, in the Approsheets here. But, well, let's see here. Yeah, it was unfortunately not in the Approsheets, but in the Magic Sheets for sure. There is this issue identified, so you can take a look at that. Maybe I will update the Approsheets to include it. But yeah, so this is it, and I think this was particularly helpful for this one. We can just check through, kind of matching the facts to the issue. So we're going from fact, which triggers the rule and the issue. So yeah, just go through. It's sort of a step-by-step, systematic approach to make sure that you get down all these issues. If you had not had this this checklist here, or this flowchart, we have one for intentional torts. I mean, this is this is pretty much a flowchart, a checklist and a flowchart. But let's say we did some issue spotting. I don't like to use spotting, but that's basically sort of like pulling things out of thin air, just haphazardly looking for things. If we had just gone through this, just read through it and just try to issue spot, would we have identified all of these? Possibly. So this is obviously assault, IIED maybe. You might have seen this and then said, conversion. False imprisonment, I don't think so. I mean, that's not really a big issue here anyway, but let's see, NIED, that's also not a big issue. But we made sure that we were able to discuss all of this by looking at this checklist. Without it, you may have had to think about, what were the intentional torts? We have battery, we have assault. Do we have kidnapping? No. I mean, you kind of go through all this, and then you might kind of get a little bit confused just trying to figure out, just kind of doing it on the fly, rather than having this sort of list of things you can check for. So, hopefully this was helpful, and if you need another example, I'm happy to do another one.